Don't make these mistakes when eating dates. At first glance, they seem like the perfect healthy snack. Easy to grab, toss into your bag, or eat on the go. But here's the paradox. Many people eat dates in a way that instead of benefiting their health, they end up with serious health issues. And the most frustrating part is that they don't even realize what the mistake is. You've probably noticed it. You eat just 34 dates, and you think you should feel energized and light. But instead, you end up feeling overly sweet, heavy in your stomach, and a bit nauseous. Half an hour later, you feel a drop in energy, and sometimes even irritability sets in. And you start to wonder, is this really healthy food? But the truth is, it's not about the fruits. Dates are a powerhouse of nutrients. They contain potassium, magnesium, antioxidants, and even compounds that support heart and brain health. The real issue lies in how, when, and with what you consume them. If you don't handle dates properly, they can become detrimental to your health. In this video, we'll discuss the 5 most common mistakes that turn dates from a helpful snack into an enemy of your well-being. Most importantly, we'll show you the right way to eat them so they provide energy, support digestion, nourish your muscles, and even aid in recovery. If you love dates but often feel heavy, bloated, or like you've overindulged in sweetness afterward, this material will save you years of trial and error. And you might be discovering for the first time how to turn this fruit into a real superfood, whether it's for breakfast or dinner. Let's start with the 5th mistake that nearly everyone makes: eating dates at night. Why does this interfere with sleep, overload the liver, and what can we do instead? Let's break it down. A sweet date before bedtime. It seems like such a harmless and even healthy evening ritual. Natural sugar and a bit of fiber. What could go wrong? Yet, this little fruit often causes insomnia, bloating, and morning sluggishness when consumed in the evening. The reason is simple. Dates don't work when you eat them, but rather when your body isn't prepared for them. The thing is, dates contain a high amount of natural sugars, such as glucose and fructose, which quickly raise your blood sugar levels. If you eat them before bed, instead of falling asleep peacefully, your body gets a surge of energy, your brain becomes active, and your digestion kicks off a long and somewhat heavy process. After all, dates are a dense, rich food that takes time to digest. As a result, the stomach works all night, preventing the body from switching into recovery mode. What might you feel after eating evening dates? Bloating, heaviness, internal heat, and anxiety before sleep. Sleep becomes restless, with frequent awakenings, and in the morning, there's weakness and a feeling as if you've missed out on restorative rest. However, dates are not the enemy if you use them at the right time and in the right context. They are perfect in the first half of the day, especially between 9 hours a.m. and 2 hours p.m. This is the perfect time to provide clean, quick energy and maintain activity without feeling overwhelmed. An excellent choice before a workout, walk, or important meeting. They work particularly well when paired with proteins or fats. For example, a couple of dates with a handful of nuts not only stabilizes blood sugar levels, but also serves as a healthier alternative to sugary snacks like cookies or sweet tea. However, even if you eat dates in the morning, the 4th mistake can ruin everything. Eat 56 of them all at once, on the go, without stopping. But they're all natural, we tell ourselves as we open a pack of dates. And before we know it, we've devoured 5, 6, or even 10 in a row. Sweet, delicious, and convenient. But just half an hour later, instead of lightness, there's heaviness, a fog in the mind, and an energy crash. And the question arises, How is that possible? Isn't this a natural product? What's the catch? The catch is in the dosage. Yes, dates are indeed nutritious. However, their benefits depend not on quantity, but on the context and moderation. A couple of dates make for a light snack, providing you with fiber, potassium, and a quick energy boost. However, 610 of them is nearly equivalent to a chocolate bar in terms of sugar content. While they may be natural, consuming them in large amounts can have the same effect as any fast-acting carbohydrate: a quick spike in blood sugar, followed by a crash and an energy slump. Additionally, there's the risk of overloading the pancreas, especially if the body is already sensitive to sugar. In older adults or those prone to metabolic disorders, this can lead to not only energy spikes, but also digestive issues, fluctuations in blood pressure, and flare-ups of inflammation, particularly in the joints. So, how many dates is considered normal? 12 pieces at a time is perfect. 34 is acceptable if you pair them with a source of protein, like nuts, or if you're planning to be active. More than 5? Only if you're a marathon runner and currently in the race. No irony intended, because in everyday life, such a portion is no longer just a snack. It's a blow to your metabolism. And one more important point. Chew slowly. Dates are soft and easy to swallow quickly. However, chewing them slowly helps prevent a glycemic spike and gives your body time to engage in the digestive process. But even if you eat dates in moderation, the third mistake that can negate all their benefits is eating them without any protein or fats. The right combination isn't just tasty, it's the key to real health benefits. The dates are sweet, soft, and convenient. I popped one in my mouth, and it seemed just right. Quick, tasty, and natural. But this is precisely where one of the most common mistakes lies. When you eat dates on their own, without any protein or fat, the sugar from them enters your bloodstream at lightning speed. The body doesn't have enough time to adapt or regulate itself, resulting in a sudden surge of energy followed by an equally sharp decline. Why does this happen? It's all about the composition of dates. They contain glucose and fructose, which are simple sugars, but they are almost devoid of proteins and fats. Specifically, they act as brakes in our digestion, slowing down sugar absorption and allowing the body to manage it more calmly. Without these brakes, blood sugar levels spike quickly, insulin surges, and after about 30 to 40 minutes, there's a crash. Fatigue, early hunger pangs, irritability, and loss of focus. This is particularly sensitive for those who have unstable blood sugar levels, are prone to sharp fluctuations in energy, or simply notice that they feel drained after consuming something sweet. The good news is that this is easy to fix. Dates provide energy, and that's true, but they need to be balanced. Keep it simple. Enjoy a date stuffed with almonds, walnuts, or hazelnuts. Add a spoonful of cottage cheese, a bit of natural yogurt, or a thin slice of cheese, or simply mix it with half a teaspoon of peanut butter. Just make sure it has no added sugar. These combinations act as slow-release fuels. Sugar is absorbed more slowly, providing a steady flow of energy without spikes. A date turns from a problematic snack into a complete mini-meal that sustains you rather than leaving you feeling jittery. This is especially important if you're not just grabbing dates on the go, but enjoying them as a snack. And if you know you tend to feel a slump after consuming something sweet, pairing it with protein or fat becomes essential. However, even if you pair dates correctly with nuts or cottage cheese, it's still easy to make a mistake with the dates themselves. The second mistake is choosing shiny, processed, perfectly beautiful dates that bear little resemblance to the real fruit, Let's figure out how to recognize them and why they can be harmful. In the display case, they look like candy. Shiny, soft, and perfectly shaped dates that tempt you with their beauty. It seems like this is the perfect natural product. However, unfortunately, these glossy fruits often turn out to be the least beneficial, and sometimes even harmful. Their external shine is not a result of freshness or care, but rather a treatment designed specifically for visual effect. What lies beneath this gloss? Most often, it's glucose syrup that is used to treat dates in order to enhance their sweetness and reduce production costs. This isn't the same sugar found in the fruit itself. It's an added syrup that can cause spikes in blood sugar and put a strain on the pancreas. Plus, there are preservatives, most commonly labeled as E220, which help the product stay fresh but can irritate the stomach, especially with regular consumption. And then there are oil coatings, cheap vegetable oils or even paraffin, which add shine but make the dates sticky and hard to digest. As a result, instead of benefits, you end up with excess sugar, potential allergens, gastrointestinal irritation, and an unnecessary burden on your metabolism. How to choose the right dates? Look for matte, slightly wrinkled items without any shine. They should feel dry to the touch, with no stickiness or oily residue. The ingredient list contains just one item: dates with no additives, sweeteners, or flavorings. When buying in bulk, choose reputable stores with a good track record, or look for packages labeled as sugar-free and additive-free. Keep in mind that even soft varieties, like medjool dates, are naturally sweet and dense, but they shouldn't shine like lacquer. Natural dates can vary in shape, with slight imperfections and irregularities, and that's perfectly fine, because the same appealing beauty in food is often inexpensive, but can be costly for your health. However, even if you've chosen the perfect dates, pure, without sugar or additives, there's one major mistake people frequently make: replacing them with complete meals. This disrupts balance, overloads the body, and hinders recovery, leading to very unfortunate consequences. I decided to eat healthily and replaced candies with dates. Now I only snack on dried fruits because they're healthy. That sounds logical, even inspiring. But here lies one of the most common and subtle mistakes. Dates are not food. They are an addition to food. If you start living on dates, replacing them with complete meals, your body begins to suffer quietly but noticeably. Why is this a mistake? Because dates are quick carbs, they contain almost no protein, fats, or essential amino acids. They provide energy, but don't offer a feeling of fullness. If you start using them as a regular snack, especially in the midst of a healthy enthusiasm, you risk not only overdoing it on sugar, but also falling into a vicious cycle of overeating and energy swings. And if you're replacing breakfast or lunch with dates, your body misses out on essential nutrients, leading to muscle loss, unstable blood sugar levels, and that frustrating effect. It seems natural, but you have no energy. When are dates really appropriate? As a small dessert after the main course, to finish the meal on a delightful note. As a snack, it's best combined with protein or fat. Try it with nuts, cottage cheese, or cheese. In situations where you need a quick energy boost, after a workout, on the go, before a performance, or during a long walk. Here's how you shouldn't use them. Not for breakfast, not for dinner, and definitely not as the only source of food throughout the day. Remember the golden rule. Dates are like spices. Just a little bit is perfect. Too much ruins the balance. 2 dates with nuts are fantastic. 10 dates instead of a meal is overdoing it. So we've covered the 5 most common mistakes made even by those who genuinely want to eat healthily. Now, Let's summarize and highlight the key takeaway that will help you enjoy and benefit from eating dates. Dates can be incredibly beneficial. They are rich in minerals, fiber, and provide a quick source of energy, helping to support both the body and the mind. However, as with any food, context, quantity, and combinations matter. The benefits of dates become clear only when you know how, when, and how much to eat them. Here are 5 mistakes to avoid if you want to get the most out of dates without experiencing bloating, sugar spikes, and fatigue. Eating dates in the evening or at night can disrupt sleep and digestion. Consuming too many dates at once can lead to overload and energy crashes. They exist in isolation without protein or fats, leaving sugar unchecked. Buying glossy processed dates with additives and syrup. Use dates as a substitute for a full meal instead of breakfast, lunch, or a balanced snack. Start with something simple. Take 2 high-quality matte-finished dates that are not too soft and not shiny. Eat them in the morning or during the first half of the day, along with a handful of nuts. Take your time. Just savor the flavor. And then pay attention to your body. Lightness, stable energy, and a lack of desire to snack on anything else are the signals that tell you you've done the right thing. Remember, strength lies not in prohibitions, restrictions, or perfect discipline. Strength lies in understanding. Even the healthiest food can work against you if consumed mindlessly. However, if you know how to approach it, the benefits will be significantly greater, and food will become an ally rather than an enemy. If you love dates, give this a like. If you recognized any mistakes in the text, share in the comments which one was the most common for you. And be sure to subscribe. There will be even more simple yet important tips ahead that will make your meals not just delicious, but truly nutritious.